Hey everyone, welcome to 996 The Howl for the uninitiated. This is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes. It's been a while, got a haircut, and not much news lately for the Coyotes the past, maybe 3 weeks ago, but the past 2 weeks ever since the draft, the NHL draft, which I'll talk about in this video. A lot of interesting things, a lot of cemented dates, a lot of hype and mojo around the league that, these players and teams are going to start playing hockey again. And it starts next week. Training camps are officially underway starting Monday. That's formal training camps. That's like everyone on the ice at the same time. The past few weeks, teams have been having small groups train together. Looking at the Coyotes' social media, a lot of players have been enjoying the ice time in Arizona and practicing for like three weeks now. But most notably, Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Nicholas Dromerson and Taylor Hall were, I think, the last attendees to this informal camp that the Coyotes have been holding at Gila River Arena. Wow, that is a mouthful to say. But yes, the return to play, the play-ins will start August 1st, so that's under a month away. We all know the Coyotes will be playing the Nashville Predators, but they will be wearing the Kachina jersey throughout the whole playoffs. So hopefully it's not a 3-game sweep and we only see those jerseys for 3 games and then never see the Coyotes until January, because that would be the worst case scenario, like I've mentioned in a previous video. But it's good that the Coyotes, are using this to having some fun with the play-ins. It's a bit of a wacky situation, but they're having fun with it. They're going to play in their Kachinas. Apparently a lot of people love that jersey. I'm fond of it, but I do prefer the Howling Yote head as their jersey. Might be controversial for some, but I just love their kits, and I hope they never change. Talking more about players, a lot of injuries. I mean, you can't talk about the Arizona Coyotes without talking about injuries. Brad Richardson and Phil Kessel were apparently injured most of this season. I mean, Richardson released a statement saying he came into training camp a bit off, and throughout the season he was feeling off and never really corrected it. And then a day after the NHL pause, he flew to get surgery on his abdomen and core, and hopefully he's fully healed now. But it was interesting to hear that, because Richardson had a down year compared to his amazing season he had last year. So yeah, it was a bit of a disappointing season for Richardson, but now understandably he was injured and battling an injury this whole time. And talking about Phil Kessel, the same thing. He said that it's been his most injured-riddled season he's ever had. He said he never felt great at any point in the season. He was battling with different types of injuries, which is interesting because his time on ice was insanely high. And I'll talk about that next video. But yeah, Phil Kessel says he's 100%. He also mentions that it was a disappointing season, one of his lowest point totals of his career, due to these injuries. And he's always a playoff performer, so hopefully he comes back 100%. And he's won 2 cups with Rick Tocchet in 2 tries, so let's make it 3 for 3. And I know that's what everyone's mind is at, and I'll talk about that a bit later on. And OEL had a Zoom call a couple days ago, and he mentioned that his knee is 100% now, and he feels really good. He feels even better than during the season. So with deductive reasoning, I mean, his knee wasn't 100% all season, and there was probably something off with him. So it's great to see him back healthy and enthused. He seemed so enthused in that interview. And if he says he's much better and everyone on the team seems much healthier and in a better mood, that's great to hear, because that season ended on a terrible note and terrible mood around the team. So hopefully everyone is starting on a clean slate. And not to mention Connor Garland and Jacob Chikrin, who were injured in the last few games of the season, they're back to full health. So it is a healthy team. We've only seen a healthy Coyotes team with Taylor Hall for like 2 games. I mean, Kemper came back from his injury and played about 3 games, but in between those 3 or 4 games, Kemper played with Hall. Chikrin was starting to get injured a bit, and Connor Garland got injured. So this is the first real test of Chaika's dream team on the ice, and everyone perfect, 100% healthy. So we'll see how it goes. And I mentioned about the draft earlier in the video. The Coyotes managed to get a chance at first overall. It's so crazy how one of the losers of the play-ins will get a 12.5% chance of winning the first overall pick. So if the Coyotes end up losing against Nashville, it's not too much of a sad sob story. They still have a 12.5% chance of getting a generational talent that the Coyotes desperately need and have been seeking ever since they started their rebuild in whatever year it was, 2013 or 14. But I mean, it's sad to see Detroit fall to 4th pick because they had a atrocious season, and I feel sympathy for them because I know the Coyotes have had their dog years. They're terrifying and terrible to watch and go through. And to see Detroit not get rewarded, I mean, they've had one of the worst seasons in the post-cap era, and they weren't rewarded at all. They got dropped down to 4th overall. And a team like Toronto, who could lose against Columbus, could end up with 1st overall. So a lot of hot takes surrounding the draft, but interesting to see that the Coyotes have a chance both ways, a chance at the Cup and a chance at 1st overall. I mean, that's crazy to even think about. But the GM, John Chaika, and the head coach, Rick Tocchet, are solely focused on winning the Cup, and that's a good mentality to have. It's just good as a fan to think that your team could lose out on something but end up winning something even better. So that rarely happens in sports, so we'll see how that goes. And a new CEO, a new CEO. I mentioned in my previous video about Aaron Cohen's firing that the new owner and Alex Morello wants a business guy, wants maybe someone on his own team, someone he's comfortable with. And he hired the first Latino in the NHL to be CEO of an NHL team. His name is Xavier. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his last name, but we'll call him by his first name, Xavier. He has education at Harvard and Stanford. That's tremendous education. He was a financial analyst for the NFL, so that's great experience coming out of there. And he spent the last 20 years in private equity and corporate investing, and he's been a friend of Alex Morello's for the last 10 years. So, they both said that their primary focus this year is to get a new arena, a better located arena, so that fans from all over Arizona can enjoy this team and not have to travel so far out to experience this exciting team. So that's good. I'm glad they have a more business-oriented owner. I loved Aaron Cohen for his philanthropist and social side, but if you want to get an arena deal done and profit this team, you need a business sense guy, and that's exactly what Xavier brings to the table. And to end this video, our own people, Craig Morgan, got let go from his job at The Athletic, which is a subscription-based sports service. They had to restructure due to COVID-19, and it was sad to see Craig go because he is the best Arizona Coyotes journalist, and he recently started his own subscription service, fan-funded. So if you enjoy Craig's articles and inquisitive writing, go support him. I'll link his website in the description, and I hope we all support him enough so that he continues to report for the Coyotes, because he's the best in the business for the Coyotes. The Coyotes have never had anyone up to his standard and professionalism, so I'm going to become a subscriber too, and I'll just link his website for every video for the foreseeable future, just so you guys, are aware that he is still reporting on the Coyotes, even though it's not an official beat writer role that is designated to him. It's his own professional website, so go support him. So other than that, thank you for watching. I'll be starting videos more regularly, and that's it. Thank you for your support.